The Comedians of Carrion Ridge, Essay 7, The Prior Monologue, by K. Brad Barfield. By the 7th week, Harlan Wicks had begun to think in stand-up rhythms. His thoughts arrived in short, looping bits, set-up, pause, punchline, like his brain had joined the union. The boundary between divine revelation and open mic was thinning fast, and the buzzards seemed to sense it. That evening, they returned to the perch in full attendance, sweeping down through the amber air like a flock of angels who'd traded their harps for microphones. Beauregard said nothing at first. He stood solemnly beside Harlan on the sandstone ledge, one foot tucked like a judge at recess. Then, without warning, a single bird broke away from the circle and landed on the rock before them. Its feathers shimmered with oil-slick color, and when it spoke, the voice was unmistakable. Richard Pryor. It wasn't an imitation, it was him, or something close enough to count. The cadence, the musical growl, the way he could make pain sound like a song you'd known all your life. Man, you ever notice how folks pray like they're leaving a voicemail for God? They don't expect a call back. They just want to say they did their part. A ripple of laughter rose from the other birds. Harlan chuckled too, but it stuck in his throat. Pryor glanced at him, grinning. "Yeah, you came up here looking for peace, right? Ain't no peace, brother. Peace is just the quiet that happens between mistakes." The words hit like a sermon disguised as a jab. Beauregard made a low sound, somewhere between a chuckle and a crow. "That one's for free," he said. Pryor kept going. "Man, you think enlightenment's some kind of reward. Like you study long enough, you get a diploma that says Certified Conscious. No, man. Enlightenment's when you finally stop looking for a clean joke in a dirty world. You learn to laugh with the mud still on you." Harlan wanted to respond, to say that he understood, but his throat locked up. It wasn't fear, it was reverence. The bird, Pryor, saw it and softened. "You know what comedy really is?" he asked. "It's mercy, man. It's when the truth shows up so ugly you gotta laugh just to keep from crying. That's what these buzzards do. They turn rot into air. Same job I had, different stage." Beauregard made a low sound, somewhere between a chuckle and a crow. "He's right," he said. "Death don't bother them, only waste does. You humans forget that rot's just another form of breathing." The flock stirred above them, their wings catching the fading light like smoke. Pryor hopped closer, his eyes catching a spark of sunset gold. "Man," he said softly, "you ever love something that broke you? That's the test right there. If you can still laugh with it after it kills your pride, that's God telling you you're finally paying attention." The line hung there, too heavy for applause. Harlan felt the truth of it ripple through him like heat from a furnace. He thought of every foolish thing he'd ever done to prove he was clever, every time he mistook suffering for a thesis, every time he laughed at the wrong moment. He looked at the buzzard before him, this impossible avatar of Richard Pryor, and realized that for the first time in his life he was listening without planning his response. The silence after the words wasn't empty. It was full, vibrating, alive. "General, is this the sermon or the joke?" he whispered. Beauregard tilted his head. "Son, you're learning to tell the difference. That's the dangerous part." Pryor chuckled, low and knowing. "Don't worry about labels, man. Jokes, prayers, apologies, they all sound the same if you say 'em honest." Then, just as suddenly as he'd appeared, the bird spread its wings and lifted into the air. The rest followed, a rush of black feathers and soft thunder. The ridge filled again with laughter.
wiser this time, slower, like the sky itself was exhaling. Harlan stood there long after they had gone, hands trembling, feeling the edge of his mind start to level out. He realized that for the first time since the experiment began, he didn't want to be smarter. He wanted to be kind. Beauregard broke the silence. "That was a mercy visit," he said. "They send Pryor when a man's about to start taking himself too seriously." "Why him?" Harlan asked. "Because he remembers what pain costs, and he knows how to make change." Harlan laughed, quiet, genuine, no performance in it, and the sound startled him. It wasn't the laugh of a man who'd lost his mind. It was the laugh of one who'd finally stopped mistaking noise for meaning. He looked down at the valley, the creeks flashing in the last light, and thought maybe the whole world was just one long setup waiting for a shared punchline. And maybe for once, it didn't have to be funny to be true.